झालं. चेक करून घ्या एकदा. चेक ऑन युअर दिस थिंग. So we are live now. We will just check. We'll wait for 5 minutes and then we'll start the session.
Sure.
Ask everybody in the group. You put in the group that log. Ask everybody to log in. ठीक है. Pentahead. Starting in few minutes. हाँ. Under that you put starting in few minutes.
Starting in few minutes, please join. Please join.
नहीं, it's okay. हाँ, it's okay.
बोलो क्या, जल्दी बोलो. और रास्ते कौन रहेगा? हैं? नाइट में रुकेगा वो? मेरी बात कर रहा हूँ उससे. तो नाइट में रुक रहे हो आज? अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है बेटा, थैंक यू.
So it's 7 o'clock. Just wait a minute before starting.
How do you spare such with time and everything, effort?
So I guess we'll start now. Few people have joined. Dr. Pradeep Sharma is saying good evening. Dr. NK Path Station is saying good evening, Dr. Ranjan. And there are few others
Hello,
also. I
everybody.
welcome all of them. And I guess without waiting further, we should start. Hmm? So, dear friends, welcome to another episode of webinars of the Path, by the Path, and for the Path series. And as you know, I am your host, Dr. Sachin Kale, Professor of Pathology at MJ Medical College, Aurangabad. Today's episode is unique. It is an episode about research. All of us know that research is the tool that drives science forward. And COVID pandemic has strongly brought forward the importance of medical research, be it about a good modality of treatment, even best position to ventilate, or the rush for the effective vaccine. And those of us who are working in the academic settings have their own compulsions for research, as promotions and pay hikes become linked to research papers. Apart from these considerations, there is a third genuine one, that is about solving the mysteries of health and disease. And when we work on something, publication is the only way to let fellow researchers know about it, let end users like doctors know about it, and let the ultimate beneficiary of the research, that is the patient, know about the new discoveries. That is why they say that it has become a culture of publish or perish. And then there are other benefits of writing a paper as well, and they are highlighted by none other than Sir Francis Bacon when he said that reading makes the full man or a woman, I may say, conference makes a ready man, and writing an exact man. So, to be an exact man, one has to write. Now that we have highlighted the importance of writing papers, let us see how to write and publish one. And to guide us in this regard, we have with us today a very special person. He is a professor of pathology at Rohilkhand Medical College, Bareilly. He is also a regular speaker at National Conference APCON. And most importantly, he is the current editor of the Indian Journal of Pathology and Microbiology. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the speaker of the today's webinar, Dr. Ranjan Agrawal, the editor of IJPM. Dr. Ranjan has done his MBBS from Motilal Nehru Medical College, Allahabad in the year 1991. He completed his MD in pathology from the same medical college in 1997. Then he joined as faculty in Manipal College of Medical Sciences, Pokhara, and worked for 3 years before moving on to his current affiliation, the Rohilkhand Medical College and Hospital, Bareilly in the year 2001. He has risen through the ranks and has become professor in the year 2012. He is a prolific author and has published more than 100 papers in national and international journals. He has also authored number of textbooks. He has held memberships and posts in various associations, including Presidentship of IJPM UP chapter, founder and honorary secretary of Indian Academy of Cytology UP chapter, and all of us know that he was organizing secretary of APCON 2018. And today he is here in the capacity of editor-in-chief of IJPM, which is the official journal of Indian Association of Pathologists and Microbiologists. And in this session called Meet the Editor, he is going to brief us about how to write and submit a research article. With this, I am ready to hand over the stage to Dr. Ranjan Agrawal, and as usual, I request audience to write any comments or questions in the chat section so that they can be taken up at the end of the presentation. With this, Dr. Ranjan sir, your screen is visible. You can start your presentation.
Okay. A very good evening to one and all. Thanks, Dr. Sachin, for definitely for a nice effort and in giving me an opportunity to interact with people just by sitting at one particular place. I think that's what is the scenario these days. The topic you gave me is about a scientific research. Definitely, I again emphasize that this topic is very relevant in today's work. The reason is we want to develop our own capacity, both as an academician, as a fellow clinician, or whatever specialty we belong to. And most important again is, as you rightly said, about the promotions, your status in the society, your presentations, and all the things. Once you start publications, you gain a confidence, you gain an academic incidence into it, and then finally you keep on rising up to more and more number of articles. I'll divide my topic into two parts. First is just a brief outline about how to approach or write a scientific manuscript. And then once we are into writing a manuscript, we have written something. The second part I'll deal today in the same simultaneously would be garnishing that written paper to make it more palatable, more exotic, and acceptable for the editor. So with this, I start my presentation. There are various routes, libraries, or databases where the research work is empaneled, meaning either we search whenever we type something, like suppose we want to write about COVID-19. What is the current scenario, the incidence, the prevalence in different countries, in different regions of India, in different subparts also. We have to use a search engine, or we have to use a database from where we can take out our extracts either in the form of an abstract or a full article. So these are the various bodies, indices from where we can take our data. Now let's put it up. What is the background with which we are intending to write a manuscript? So the biggest thing is the question or the hypothesis formulated by the investigator. Now, who is an investigator? Investigator is a person who is intending to write down or pen down his or her thoughts into a structured article, which is a scientific article. With this formulation, the investigator has something in the background of his mind, his or her, that what I am going to write. Number one. Number two, what is my topic of interest into which I am into publication? Now, but what is the question about it? The topic should not be very, very old. Say at least it should be within the time frame of 5 to 6 years or maximum 10 years, depending on what we are choosing about. It should reflect something different, something unique from what has already been published. This publication could be in the form of an abstract or a full article, doesn't make a difference, but there should be certain caution in it. So the first most important thing before starting to jot down your article is read the instruction for the authors on the basis of which you will be formulating your entire article. Then comes the choice of the journal. This is very important. Like suppose we are a pathologist. So definitely our area of interest would be for the pathologists. Plus, when we write an article, it is related to a clinical pathology. That is an extension of our scope. This does not mean that we are not into the oncology part. Now, suppose I write about soft tissue tumors. This encompasses the pathological part, the clinical pathology, or the oncology part. But if I write this into a neurosurgery journal, I don't think so it will be too meaningful. Something about the authorship. One word I used was an investigator, who is the primary person who has started the ball rolling about how to write an article. A single-handed usually does not suffice, so he or she needs a clubbing of type of people, like-minded, like-thought, who will work on that particular topic in a collective manner. Most important is, please do not give authorship. This means you write my name, I write your name in the article. No, it is based on the actual work or full work done by each contributor. And definitely in a standard journal, we always want that each contributor should mention his or her work in detail, like taking up of the data, compilation of the data. See, first is collection of the data, then compiling them into a meaningful structure, giving them into a result. Some write about the discussion part,
मोबाईल दाखवतो.
some write about the interactive part. Can I continue?
Yes, yes.
Sorry.
So wait, actually, no,
So
sir,
this,
slides are not moving. Wait, slides are not moving. I will just check what has happened. Uh, okay, okay, sir. Slides are moving. No, no issues, sir. No issues. You please continue.
okay, okay.
Hmm.
Then when we write about the authors, we need to tell them who the author is, like their affiliations, their contacts, so as to maintain a full transparency. And yes, the entire article rests upon a single author who is known as a guarantor or who is the corresponding author. Now, different variations have been done as per the Medical Council of India that the three authors will be taken into consideration for a credit as well as the corresponding author. That all is a slightly different aspect. But who are the co-authors? Again, the co-author should contribute to the concept and design of the study. Very, very pertinent point. Acquisition of the data, analyzing them, interpreting them, drafting the entire article, revising them so that as to make it into an intellectual content, we call it, or a scientific meaningful matter, and approve the final version. Usually conflicts arise when one or two authors do the entire work and others are either gifted or other way around. And when we write down back to the other authors, they say we are unaware about it, or their names have just been included in it. This is unethical and not acceptable. Coming again to the word we use was ethical issues. Ethics in publication are very important. This includes some important points like a duplicate publication. Same article is published in multiple journals, either in a divided form or as a replica as a whole. This is not acceptable. Plagiarism is one line I like to emphasize. Plagiarism means either the entire word by word is being copied, the entire paragraph. Like suppose I have already published one paper on COVID. You copy the entire paragraph as such and paste it down. This is not done. It is not that the matter cannot be taken. The matter can be taken, but yes, you can take it and you can extract the matter out of it rather than copying it as such into it. Misuse of statistics is very important these days. What happens is when you put your data into a table, it takes out certain statistics. Now you have say 20 number of cases, you want to make it 50, you multiply your data into 2.5 and you get a statistics. No. If you have less number of cases, please mention your limitations of the study as the less number of cases and then you give your statistics that further studies can be done, should be continued. This is my theme of study and take out that into the limitations of the study or further studies to be carried out. But please do not multiply it like this and do your work. Then comes the manipulation of the images. This means that you are tabulating the entire image. There is one image posted in Google. You turn it around, you do the color changes, brightness changes, rotate it, etc. And then you paste it and give it as your original report or an image. No. Or a false citation to an article is also not acceptable. Just one line about Committee on Publication Ethics has written down a large volume of guidelines both for the publishers, for the editors as well as the authors, which should be read thoroughly before submitting any article to any of the publications or the journals. Now let's start with framing of the manuscript or writing down the manuscript. It is not mandatory that you start right from the point one, that is abstract, and you finish to the conclusion of the references. The first thing is you first take up your data, analyze them, that what are you getting out of it, the crux of your research work. Then you see into it that what methods you used and whether any additional method, anything extra, any special strain could help you in improving the quality of your paper. And then you write down your results. Once you jot down your result, you find that previous authors found this much percentage, and suppose you find tuberculosis in the oral cavity. This is just an example, and you find an incidence of 20%, whereas previous publications had made it 40%. There is a good amount of difference in it. Now, suppose you put it that I have added AFB also in all my cases, and I found that instead of that 40, it reduced to 20%. Now, your reports are matching with those of the previous ones, or either way around. So this is how you start framing up your manuscript, and then you proceed further ahead. The most catchy point in an article is your title. How best you frame up your title or the topic greatly has an impact not only on the editor or the editorial board, the reviewers, as well as all your readers. Now the question comes, why are we interested in readers getting it? Definitely, if more and more readers take up your article, read up your article, or download your article, you get more citations. What are citations? Citation is adding value to your publication. It is not only that you get promoted out of it, but more the number of articles are cited out of it, you find yourself to be into a higher value. Like Robbins is a well-known textbook throughout pathology. Why? Because it is widely read, most cited book in pathology. That's the same happens with your articles. So the title should be such, it should be short, crisp, it should reflect the purpose of your study, it should be brief, non-controversial, that means it should not highlight any particular company or any particular theme as such, and it should be little different from what your abstract is reflecting. What is an abstract? Abstract is a very small summary of your entire article. Abstracts are usually loaded on the websites or to the editor, to the reviewers who wish to access your article. Now, when you load an abstract, if it is attractive, the reviewer immediately sends in a message, yes, I want to review this article. It looks very attractive and promising for publication. See, that is the point from where it starts becoming catchy. So the first paragraph should mention what you are dealing with, that is, what is your study design, the relevance of the study, and the nature of the problem that you are dealing with. Second paragraph, the importance of the problem, that is the crux of the problem, and what issues were unclear due to which you undertook this study. The last should be the rationale or hypothesis that you predicted, the main objective or the purpose. And here again, I'll emphasize, in case you find that your study is certain limitations in any way, either the number of cases, material method, resource crunch, anything, you please mention it in the end. So this is all about the abstracts. Now, keywords are primary words which hold importance and which are fed into the database. They provide a specific and accurate description of the content. Oral tuberculosis. So whenever I want to write a research article today, tomorrow, or day after, and whenever I type in a word oral or tuberculosis, the entire manuscript should be opened up, that these are the various publications, and depending on my area of interest, I'll select those and I'll cite them. Introduction. Introduction or the background is what we are going to deal with. That means the prevailing situation, what is existing, and what we are going to deal with in my article. Material and method, we all know, the study design, the data collection, how you are going to analyze them, what is the rationale behind using it, what statistical methods you will be using, and what would be the outcome that you are about to predict. Definitely, there is one important aspect these days is the clearance or from the ethical committee, either from the institutional or from anywhere you feel like. And if it is a case report, it should have an informed consent from the patients. 2 points which should always be included are the inclusion and the exclusion criteria while you were conducting the study. That means what all the cases will be included and what are the cases you will exclude out and the reason behind them. Results, whatever you have collected, the data together, that should be compiled. Important aspect is you should mention the negative findings also. Like we studied all the positive cases of adenocarcinoma and there was not a single case of dual malignancy or anything in these cases included. Whenever you write your article, since it is the work has been done in a past tense, so always use past tense in your done. The work was conducted in the Department of Pathology in a tertiary care institute. The work was done using this. The work was done using the latest methods available. This holds importance. Now you have collected your data, you have analyzed them, put them together into something. How to make it effective? Make figures, charts, bar diagrams, or tables into it. As soon as you make a table in one particular structure, we find your entire data reflected. In what way? Like suppose it is we are dividing COVID into the clinical picture, mild, moderate, severe, and these are the various hematological parameters that were analyzed. So in a single picture you find that what are the variations between the different grades of severity and the different parameters taken together for analyzing. Discussion. Discussion means you have come up with your results. These results need to be corroborated or correlated with what has already been published related to those articles. Definitely there could be a match. Definitely there could be a mismatch. Now comes, if there is a match, you need to tell us or the publications via your publication, why was there a total mismatch, a total match between your and the previous results? Could be you have taken the same demographic profile, same parameters, same data. Mismatch, the reason could be that the previous studies have been conducted in a Western country, but we have conducted our study in an Indian population, in a temperate zone, in a tropical zone, so this could be a difference. We have conducted our study in North India, whereas the previous publication were in Southern India, where the temperature, the climate, and living conditions all are different. Previous studies were in a slum area, we have done in an urban area. So this is the reason where you have match and mismatches, and this needs to be corroborated. Both are justifiable and both are good studies that way. Conclusion is, what is your ultimate outcome of the study? You took out a study, you gave a certain hypothesis, and at the end of the discussion, you came out with certain things which needs to be a sort of message for further researchers to be there. Something about references. This is one area where most of the papers are rejected. There is a certain style of writing a reference. It is not that they should be written in an alphabetical order. It is a Vancouver style which needs to be written and followed down. And in each, the instruction of author for each journal, there is mention about how to write about the references. Whether the references have been taken up from the textbooks, from published or unpublished articles, from articles published in various journals, from certain theses, from certain speeches, etc., etc. And all this have to be incorporated in a definite manner for where the acceptability of the article is increased. Now, just for example, you can contact these. Like if it is from a standard journal, this is how we write it. The surname of the main author, like Satyanarayan S. Kalagati 80, the surname followed by the initials. Like if it is Ranjan Agrawal, it will be Agrawal R. Then you write about, if it is more than 6 authors, we put in et al. In italics. Then we have the topic or the title by which the publication was being published. Then which journal was it? Each journal has a standard abbreviated form. Here we do not write the complete name, Indian Journal of Pathology and Microbiology. It is Indian J Pathology Microbiology. Then the year in published, a semicolon, the volume in which it was there. In certain, like in IJPM, we do not write the issue numbers. Then the pages, it was 416 to 419. So we do not write 419 again, we write it 416-9. Had it been 422, it would have been written 416-22. Then sometimes we write about the volume with supplement, issues with supplement, depending on what we are about to mention. There are certain personal authors, editors, chapters in books. This is how it should be written. In the chapter in a book, it should be written about the edition, the publishers, the place of the publication, the press or the publisher's name, the year, and then the pages about it. So this is what it is. Just one very important line about what is an impact factor. Now, as soon as we say, who are you? Okay, I am the Home Minister of Union of India. It makes an impact that yes, somebody is holding an important post. Similarly, each journal has certain factor or how much impact that journal is making in the society of publication. There are various, there is a formula about how do we calculate the impact factor, and it keeps on varying about from year to year, every year. Like Nature has an impact factor of 41, which is very, very high. This means that whenever we quote Nature, it has a high impact factor. And on the other way around, if your publication is or published, if your article is published in Nature, definitely you get a very, very high credibility about it. This is how the impact factor is calculated. Now coming to the second part of my presentation, garnishing of the scientific paper, making it effective for publication. This part, I would say that since you have already framed up your article, you are ready to send it to your publication, and now you want to make it so palatable, so delicious that the editor or the reviewers, they accept it very soon. I think this picture will give you a clear view of what I want to emphasize upon. It is nothing, probably I feel these are the peels of tomato, the same tomato cut down, and I think we pay 100, 150, 200 rupees for this salad. Or a very small piece of this apple, not even half of it is there, and we pay a good amount of it. See, this is what is garnishing. Just making it beautiful, lucrative, tasty for the editors to palate it very easily. Dr. Sachin has already emphasized upon publish or perish. Definitely, yes, this was a dictum earlier. The promotions, your credibility in the society, in your department, everything depends upon your publishing qualities and your publications. Now, I like to put it upon to the audience and the viewers. Which of the two pictures do you like? The same Mona Lisa is into two different versions, or Urvashi and Kunpurva. See the same picture in a blurred manner, the same picture in a clearer manner. where you can identify that what is what. Even the buildings, the crown, everything is very well visible. See the smile of Mona Lisa, so beautiful. This means what makes a good manuscript. Each manuscript should have a flow, a logical manner. It should have certain logics, certain ethics into it, which makes it good. It should be formatted in a definite manner, written in a style that transmits the message clearly. This means it should have a scientific touch to it. A simple language. I did an ISC on the slides and I found that the results were positive. No. The positivity of ISCs like her to new carried out showed different grades. See the difference in the language in the sentence. Okay? We have to keep in mind that the reviewer panel or the editorial board, they are definitely busy people in their own preoccupations as well otherwise. So when we submit them a manuscript, they should be able to take out that yes, this manuscript holds certain potential for publication. This means it should arouse an interest in the reader, whoever so it is, and it should give a clear scientific message that yes, the message is clear cut. This means the presentation is very vital and important in every aspect. Now, is this justifiable if I write your thesis should be submitted in 30 minutes? I don't think so. I'm doing right. My supervisor commands me, submit your thesis or your protocol in 10 minutes. No. I need to give the candidate certain time to work upon it and reflect what he or she wants to tell. And then I should tell them that no, this is the way of the approach. So the biggest question is, before we write, why do we want to publish? Just for the heck of it? Or you actually want to convey a message out of your publication? This means, yes, my topic is new, it is interesting, and is the current hot topic. Plus, not only that, I have not only collected the data, compiled them, but I have provided certain things to it which are meaningful for the audience or for the readers to analyze. There are various types of manuscripts. Now, if we come across a very interesting case, it can be given only a category of a case report, image, letter to the editor. Now, just one line of difference between all this. Case reports are slightly bigger articles, say 1,000 words, wherein you given little bit more of literature, review of literature. Images, you get very, very good image. Like you found certain thing in your, while you're capturing an image, you found a unique parasite, suppose. You did a pap smear, you found a trichomonas into it in a different morphology. Or you found schistosomiasis. This is usually fitting into an image. You click that particular image and write down about it. Letter to the editor is in communication between the author and the editorial board or the editor, where the manuscript, little bit about it is conveyed, or a previous publication which has already been done into the journal has there is a comment about that particular published article. Original article includes a full article, research article, which has certain point or piece of research into it. This goes into a data compilation. These are the various topics under which the components of a paper are included. We have already dealt with, I'll just summarize them again. Title, the various authors, the abstracts, the keywords. Keywords are the primary thing which help an or re-author or a new author to search about your paper. Introduction or the background, methods, materials which were used, the results, the discussion, acknowledgement. We have dealt with that authorship should not be gifted. But if you find that somebody has contributed certain thing, like suppose I do statistics for you and it is not contributing to the authorship, you can acknowledge me and write, I thank Dr. Ranjan for helping me in the statistical analysis of my data. That's all. References, we have already dealt with, and certain appendices. Appendices are annexures along with your articles which add meaning. This means supporting documents, which suppose I want to see from where you have taken up your article or your consent form. All this comes under appendix, and an extra information is given to the editorial board so that they do not keep on questioning you again and again. IMRAD is the normal format of writing an article. IMRAD. Introduction, materials, results, and discussion. This is the format in which we normally write an article. Title we have already dealt with. I think I'll skip it. Again emphasizing, title should be informative and concise. This is one anecdote which we normally face everywhere. The professor says, I am not interested in what the paper is about, Dr. Jones. I just want you to put me on the author's list, and that finishes. There is a jigsaw puzzle type of thing wherein teamwork is important. Why? Because in a teamwork, what we do is we mix up the authorships, get into a concept of all the minds, and then come to a conclusion of what we are dealing with. Now, at most of the times there are certain pitfalls in the introduction part. What are those? And that usually goes into rejection of the paper. The introduction part written by the authors are too lengthy. Do not use words which keep on dragging your article too much. Don't turn this section into a history lesson. Readers start losing their interest. Whenever you start dividing your written part, please keep them into short sentences, keep them into a paragraph. First paragraph about certain aspect, the prevailing situation, then the problem into the society, then what you are going to deal with. Material method, make it into a data collection, analysis, and the rationale that you are going to deal with. Results. Again, how about garnishing this paper? This means remove all the pitfalls while you are writing the paper. Unspecific expressions such as higher temperature at a lower rate. No, please specify it. Temperatures above 25 degrees may lose the credibility of the kits that were used. Lower rate. Lower rate means what? We have to specify a cutoff value below which or above which the values were holding importance. Now, sudden introduction of new terms or ideas should be avoided. If you want that your paper is coming up with certain new thing, this should be into the hypothesis or the discussion part. That my paper from previous paper is different because of these reasons. Okay, and then you need to give them a reason, mention something that why is your paper different from the previous one. Possible interpretation to be included rather than imagination. Oh, it could be a DNA disorder, this DNA problem, which could lead to this, this and that. No, there has to be a scientific reason behind the discrepancies or the limitations of it. This is the jigsaw puzzle that I was about to tell you. You have three data in your hand. Now, when you put them in different hands, it does not create an impact. To make them implement, you need to put them together and see how good this is looking, and this is not giving you any value. This is what your data should tell the editorial or the reviewer panel. See, I have constructed the entire data into a meaningful structure. Yes, it could be a train and a horse mixed together. It could be a steam engine and a diesel engine. But yes, it is nothing like half leg, half horse, half donkey or an ass. Okay? Results formulated, figured. This is, I want to emphasize again. When you put it into a picture, either a vertical or a horizontal picture, it is giving me certain meaning. There are two parameters, the x and the y axis, which are giving me certain values. And at that glance, I can see that yes, you have represented in a single figure multiple data, which are representing certain values and which could carry a meaningful paper. This is one figure how we represent, and each figure should be self-explanatory. It is showing me the region, the inter-countries or the different countries where the data is represented. Again, a plot diagrams where I get to know certain meanings depending on what I am about to achieve out of the paper at the end. Discussion part, we have already dealt with the present study and the previous studies. Both the concordant and the discordant results should be discussed, and this should be made defined. And again, your hypothesis should definitely be a part at the end of the discussion. What do these results they mean? Are they simple compilation of your data, or they are mentioning any shortcomings, next steps to be followed, certain speculations? All should be included in your studies. Conclusion. Please do not repeat what has already been mentioned either in your abstract or your introduction or material method, etc. Conclusion should be crisp, concrete, and definite finding of what we are about to tell the audience about it. References, again, very specific. There are different Vancouver style, the Harvard style, that all depends upon how we are about it. Acknowledgements, yes, I said, if suppose somebody is helping you out in an analysis, it should be into the acknowledgement part. It should be either somebody who has advised you, technical staff, financial supporter in any way, proofreader. Some people, they are very knowledgeable about their typists, suppliers, if they have given you certain recognitions or something. Now just few lines, 5 minutes, about how to, or you have written down your article, you have understood the entire manuscript, framed and everything. Now is the time to organize your manuscript multiply and get all these things together. So the first important thing is a checklist of whether you have included each and every thing into it. I follow this particular system of publication to start with. I start my presentations from figure and tables. This means I first collect my data, I plot them into a figure and a table, and then see what I am about to achieve. Then I write about the methods, the available methods and the possible methods. Then I go about the result, the discussion. Once I'm into this, I immediately find that my study is conclusive or inconclusive, and then I frame my conclusion. I'm telling you about my methodology of how I do my publication. Once into this, once I have written my entire article, I see that yes, this is now meaningful or non-meaningful. If it is non-meaningful, I try to modify it again. Once it has come down to my satisfaction, I write down the abstract out of it. This means the crux of my paper. Then I frame a title depending on what I have done. Keywords are the last part. Acknowledgement, definitely yes, in case anybody has done up. And finally are the references which need the most important attention. Then I select the journal in which I need to submit it, definitely on the title, my theme, my topic on which I have written about it. And now with publication, as my publications have been advanced, I give a value to the impact factor and the audience who are there. I do not try to submit it to the predatory journals, and peer review journals are what I always select, because only then I'll get a credibility rather than I'll lose all my entire labor into waste. Impact factor we have already dealt with. Instruction to authors, definitely yes. I prepare a checklist of what I have written, what I have left out. Before you regret and before the editorial board says, sorry, your paper is rejected, please do not fall into this, oops, I forgot this. The limit of the article was 3,500, but in my enthusiasm, I wrote it to 5,000 words. Not acceptable. Okay? Because it is not an essay writing, it is something which is giving a scientific meaning to my paper. Style, the language, the vocabulary, the grammatical errors, the spelling errors, all should be taken into caution, and it should not be just like anything else. 10 principles for revising a manuscript. Decide whether to resubmit the manuscript to the same journal or not once it is returned back. This is very important, and this the authors have to critically analyze. You can contact the editor freely about any resolved issues which are pending. Study the reviewers' comments. If the reviewers have outrightly rejected your article, there is no point in resubmitting it on to the same journal again and again, because there must be some point. Usual point is just I like to highlight it. Similar article, same topic has already been published in the last issue. Again taking that same article until it's very important. Why? This means you are not giving a variety to the journal and immediately it is rejected out. It is not that your paper was bad. It is that it's a limitation of that particular journal for this particular year or few issues. Okay? So nobody should feel disheartened that no, my paper is outrightly rejected. There are certain limitations with the boards and all. Deal with the reviewer's comments one by one. Reviewer has written 5 comments. Comments are not only adverse comments. These comments are to improve your paper, to improvise on the quality of your paper, to make it acceptable. No reviewer writes it, it's a useless paper, please remove it, throw it in the dustbin. No language, nobody ever uses this language. They say your paper has certain limitations. Please answer me these questions, either incorporate it into your text or you put them into an answer separately to me so that I am satisfied about the quality of your paper. Then disagree, even if you disagree, sir or ma'am, oh, you do not know who the reviewer is, you write, dear reviewer, we do not agree with your point of view, I disagree, and you give your concrete findings. Then you devise a strategy for writing your diverse comments. Shorten the manuscript, definitely, because every journal has certain limitations of space. You cannot write everything into one manuscript. Review the medical literature before resubmission, and please make it into the latest articles rather than very, very old ones. So this is how we would like to organize the manuscript so that it becomes acceptable. Almost the same thing in a different manner. This is, I have already highlighted, explain the limitations of the study. Everybody is maybe into a resource crunch. This does not prevent you from publication. It rather enthusiasts you to make more and more publication, right? And secondly is account for unexpected results. This is what we found. There is certain checklist before there. And the philosophy behind a good manuscript is write with the reader in mind. Please Now, suppose if it's a pathology journal and I write something about genetics and molecular, how many of us would be very much interested? Like for IJPM? Very few. But yes, if your manuscript is there, which is writing something, and then you incorporate your moleculars or genetics into it, it will create an impact and a greater impact. Ethical issues we have already dealt with, very, very important. This is again one anecdote. What do you mean all my facts are wrong? Yes, I copied everything straight off the internet. Very true of the student, but yes, not from the editorial board. I have framed the picture, same frame in different manner. This I leave upon the audience to select which is the best picture they feel like. The same manuscript, modified, plagiarism or whatever it is in different manners, but which of the six is acceptable for them, I leave it upon them. The last, your manuscript is both good and original, but the part that is good is not original, and the part that is original is not good. Said by Samuel Johnson. Thank you, Dr. Sachin, for giving me this opportunity of presenting my viewpoint.
Nice, sir. Nice. You have covered
And
everything.
this is how I feel.
So I think Dr. Ranjan sir has taken us through the journey about writing a scientific paper and submission very gently and sort of carefully. He has led us in the journey towards writing paper and publications. I think he has covered everything, right, from all the team rod, title, introduction, materials and method, results, observations and discussion, and what points to take care of. I guess, sir, you can stop presenting so that your video
Any
will be
queries?
visible. You can stop presenting now so that your video will be visible.
Yeah. Am I visible now?
Yes, sir. Now you are visible.
I think yes.
Yes. So
Any queries, any comments
yes,
which
yes,
have
yes,
come up?
yes, yes. There are a few. Doctor, as I said previously, few people have said good evening. Dr. Pradeep Sharma, Dr. Neeta Kumar has said, and Dr. Bharti Dalal is commenting that unless
Oh,
rare
right.
interesting lesions are reported, their true incidence cannot be ascertained. I think she has given three examples like aneurysm of sinus of Valsalva, elastofibroma dorsi, and agnogenic myeloid metaplasia of spleen. Her comment is that unless rare lesions are reported, the true incidence cannot be ascertained. So
I
anything
want
you
to
want to?
answer that. I want to answer that. Yes. Actually, what is happening is about the impact factor. That is actually part two. When we calculate impact factors, the case reports are left out because they are not very much cited. So each journal they have started reducing the number of case reports in their publication. This is one very important problem with the publications. And definitely in pathology, until and unless we publish case reports, it does not value much. So I agree with Dr. Bharti and I acknowledge her for her right poems and everything. She writes very well. So what I want to say is that yes, case reports are also very important, but from a journal point of view, there is a reduction in the number of case reports and the limitations.
Right, sir.
So definitely, if they are very, very rare, we take it up.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now, Dr. Alok Verma is saying, sir, sometimes index journal reply too late. What to do then? This.
Yes, yes, this is one limitation, definitely. See, anything who is taking time means they are giving value to the quality. An article, once you submit an article to the journal, it goes through multiple phases to different peer reviewers. We have a policy of at least two, if not three. Everybody reads the article meticulously, points out, then the editorial board clubs both their views together, put them, and then most of the time what happens is somebody says very good, the other says very bad. Now this is very dicey now. What we do in that case is we do again two more reviewers and then see the views.
Okay.
So 21 days we are given to one reviewer. Again, second set, 42 days.
Great.
But you see the ultimate outcome which comes out of this publication are very good then.
Yes, sir. True.
Predatory journal, you submit it today, within 48 hours you get a result that yes, your article is accepted. But where are you going to cite it? Where is this value?
Right, sir.
It is not acceptable neither from medical council or from any other view.
Right. It's great to hear from horse's mouth, as if to say. So very nice of you to come on board and explain everything, because IJPM is one of the premium journals of pathology and microbiology in India. So it's good to hear from you. There is one more comment from Dr. Pradeep Sharma. Great talk with great tips. Dr. Sridhan Patil has also said very useful and crisp talk. Thank you, sir. Dr. Ashraf Zubair has said good presentation. Dr. Professor Pramod Bhale has said very nice presentation. Dr. Rashmi Patnaik has said thanks. Dr. Ashraf Zubair is asking, can we submit same manuscript to more than one journal? I don't think that is.
So that comes under plagiarism.
Uh-huh.
That comes under plagiarism.
Right.
Total plagiarism.
I think it's definitely
Neither in part. No.
So, Dr. Ashraf, you cannot submit same manuscript to one journal. Of course, after rejecting by one journal, I think definitely you can approach another journal, right?
Yes, that is there.
Okay.
That choice always lies with the author.
And then Dr. Sridhan Patil is asking, can we publish data that is 3 or 4 years old, which are unpublished? For example, a case report.
Yes, definitely yes. Yes, there is no limit to it.
Okay, great.
But first you need to search your literature, that how much data is already available. And if you're flooding the same thing again with the same literature, that does not carry value.
Okay. Dr. Alok Verma is saying great presentation. Thank you. Dr. Ganesh Kadam is saying thank you, sir. Dr. Ashraf Zubair is asking, are there any journals exclusively for case reports or case series?
Yes, there are.
There are
both international and national. Okay. Yes, there are there. Okay. Yes, there are there. But you need to check about their impact factor that way. Yes.
Okay, great. Dr. Priyanka Raju is saying very basic points, beautifully explained. Dr. Neeta Kumar is saying thank you, Dr. Ranjan, for a comprehensive coverage of topic. Dr. Meena Patil is saying very nice presentation. So all the attendees that were there are quite satisfied your presentation, and I hope you do
and
one
they can
more
write to me anytime, and even personally they can write to me anytime, and I usually respond well in time.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
That is there.
So we are hearing from editor of the IJPM himself. This is the first time I think we are directly having interaction with him, and it's so nice of him to come on board and explain things from the perspective of the editor and editorial board. Dr. Anand Patil is asking, is it ethical to pay and publish? Is there any way out? Is it ethical to pay and publish? And is
definitely. Way out is that you improve the quality of your publication and all the publications will be accepted.
Right, sir. Right.
That is one thing.
Right.
Pay and publication, no. That makes it predatory.
Right.
That makes it predatory.
Right. People are like sort of caught in a catch-22 situation where they have to publish in certain period of time. Every year one has to have 2 presentations like that. No.
It's only usually...
There are policies at places, so sometimes people...
So that is encouraging.
Yeah.
See, I feel that is encouraging. That should be encouraged.
Yes, sir. Very true, sir. Very true. And because of that, a lot of us are focusing things.
There are many places where your annual promotions and annual increments are based on these.
Right, sir.
And I feel they should be part of it.
Right.
We are academicians and we should be into it.
Right, sir. Very true. So I think let me check whether there are any other comments. Dr. Alok Verma is asking for your email. I think I will put up in a comment afterwards, or if you can tell just tell your email whether if you can note it down. You can tell your email.
Dr. Ranjan68, Dr. Ranjan68, Dr. Ranjan68 @gmail.com.
Right. I hope you have noted. Then Dr. Kumar is asking who should be corresponding author. What is the meaning of the term corresponding author?
Corresponding author is one person who is actually the guarantor and has done the entire thing together. This means if I as an editor, I raise a query to the corresponding author, he or she should be able to answer it rather than saying, sir, I'll ask my X person, I'll ask my Y person, and then I'll answer you back.
Okay, great.
That corresponding author knows everything about that article,
Hmm.
what answers were written, what
Hmm.
more answers need to be queried, and everything.
Right.
Well versed with the article,
Okay.
all in one person.
Okay, sir. I hope that answers Dr. Kumar's question. Dr. Saeed Adil is asking, is consent of patients a prerequisite in pathology publication?
Yes, yes, that is mandatory. But
Right.
normally, what happens is during in a hospital practice, we already take a consent,
Right.
if you
So
remember.
even if we anonymize the patient, still consent will be required. Like just a 36
Yes,
year.
because under the core guidelines, it is mandatory
Right.
that
Okay.
at least you have informed the patient that your material is being published, but your name is not there.
Okay. Great. So
Your data, your structure is being
okay.
published for the benefit of the community.
Okay. Okay. Dr. Shaligram Tonde is online. He's saying hello to everybody. Dr. Shilpa Totla is there. She's saying great insights. Thanks, Dr. Kalesar and Dr. Ranjan for posting and reminding. Posting, I had posted in
Definitely,
various
Dr. Kale
groups.
needs, okay,
So
Dr.
all
Kale
of
needs more.
nice and informative session. Dr. Tonde's comment. Dr. Rashmi Patnaik is thanking me. I think all this is we are learning it together. This all these webinars, all this COVID pandemic has given us opportunity sort of to bond with each other through the medium of these webinars, and I think it has benefited scientific community in more than one way. Uh, I was reading article in I think ICMR. Research about COVID uh, has focused attention on a lack of funding as far as medical research is concerned. I think if my numbers are correct, I think ICMR gets about 436 million rupees or something like that for this research purpose. Compared to that, I think there are billions of rupees that are invested by developed countries, and that's where I think one focus that uh, maybe government needs to fund the research more, and all of us need to have that
This time,
scientific mind whereby we are open to discovering the questions and willing to find answers to those particular questions. I think
like what you said, I just want to comment on this.
mhm.
Like ICMR this time has got a good amount of fund now. I mean,
Okay,
they have not yet so far cried about that there is a fund problem or anything,
okay.
and they have managed the COVID situation, I think, very
Very,
nicely.
very nicely, sir. Right, very nice.
I mean, in that way that they have taken up a stand that no unnecessary tests will be done, no hanky-panky systems will be done. They have
Mhm.
managed the situation, I think, well
Okay, okay,
this time.
okay. I think before we end, I think uh, Dr. Tonde is saying bogus publications shall be demoralized. I think that should be happening. Bogus publications should not be happening at all. And authors of such publications, of course, should be demoralized. That is true. And are we doing something about like catching bogus publications? And
Yes, when
I
we
think
catch up a
recently,
publication,
recently,
we either
just
blacklist them or
okay.
something, but not much cannot be done.
Okay, there was some
Much cannot be done.
recently about some COVID paper was published in number of reputed journals, and the
Yes,
data was fabricated, I guess, and the article was retracted.
withdrawn.
Yeah.
They were
So
withdrawn from the most reputed journals of
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
world.
So this
But
happens,
you can,
but later on, scientific community catches up with the truth, and ultimately, such publications are exposed and retracted. I think on that note, we are ready to say bye bye. I again thank Dr. Ranjan Agrawal, who is a good friend of mine, from bottom of my heart that he has come on board and explained the whole process of writing, submitting, and reviewing, and the editorial process behind scientific publications. I'm also grateful to the audiences that joined and actively participated in the discussion. And with this, we are ready to say bye bye. And good night, everybody. Take care and see you in another
good night.
webinar. Thank you, Dr. Ranjan. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, okay, bye, Dr.